Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully create our React JS project, right? And after that also we run our server, and when you run this server, automatically it's providing some of the URL. So that is our default URL as a local host as a 3000 port. And also it shows some of the note as a note that the development build is not optimized to create production build use npm run build. That means if you run to this production, then you have to run this npm run build, then automatically it will be created one of the folder as a build, then automatically it will be created one of the folder as a build. So I will do the things later. So right now that is our port and our project is now perfectly running, right? So right now we don't need this node.js. I just simply remove it. So now in this video I want to discuss about that file structure, how the things exactly, that is all that by default file structure. When you install it, you can see there is a node modules. That means all that building node modules automatically added on here. When you install that project, automatically it's added all that our building nodes. Okay, that means all that our building modules on here. So we have to actually call it, we have to import it, and then we have to use it in our project. So step by step we will do that things later. And then there is our public. Into the public you can see there is our index HTML, and into the index HTML they have one of the ID. So that's the ID, actually main important things. So everything will be run from here. That means into the part that dev area. So they have some of the ID, and also they have some of the message. That means some of the note. Better I want to do and to remove all that note from here. It's not needed. So I just simply remove it. Okay friend, so that is actually the main part as an ID as a root. So as I told you, if you don't know anything about that React.js, don't worry, step by step everything will be very much clear to you. But just note it, that is actually one of the ID. So that is ID by default name as a root. So whatever the application will be run, you have to add the things on here. That means in particular that ID area. Okay, and also there is a fav icon. That means this fav icon. So that is actually visible on here. And there is some of the logo. So there is all the logo, there is another logo, and then there is a src. Into the src area here, all that file, there is a app css. That means all that css file, and there is our app.js. So this app.js is the main mother.js file. So it's pretty much important one of the things. Here you can see there is actually the import that React, that means the React name from the React. So there is actually one of the library. That means in our node module they have also one of the module as a React. So you just simply import that React file. So we have to also import it from here. That means our node modules, and then the import logo, and there is our logo svg, and then you can see it's now call it with our image src with our this logo. That means right now this logo is visible on here. Okay, so that is our logo. And then the edit some of the code, you can see there is a add save to reload. So that is actually our code is a add save to reload. Okay, and also there is a learn React. So there is also one of the link class. There is our link class as a app link, and there is our one of the link class. You can see there is actually our link as a learn React. So now it's visible on here. If you want to change it as a learn more, okay, I just change it, click as a save all. And now if you refresh it, yeah, you can see it's now updated as a learn mode. Okay, so everything step by step I will show you. So that is some of the default, all that our name, and also you can see there is the import our app css, import that logo, that means the logo js svg. That means that is actually the logo svg, and that is our app css. And also they have some of the index, that means the index.js file, and into the index.js file here import that app. So that is our app, and here that is all that our app. That means that is actually our application. You can see that is actually our application. See, it's import that our app from our app. So that is actually the three file will be needed. That means this index html, and that is our mother.js file. The mother.js file as a app.js. So that file will be needed, and also that is our index.html. So that's all that file. So into the index.html here you can see there is a root ID as a root. So this root, if you go to index.js, here you can see that is actually our document element by ID as a root. So if you want to change it, so in Vue.js it's by default as a app, but in React.js, actually this ID name as a root. So if you want to change that name, you can change it, and then after that also you have to update that index. That means in our src, that is index.js, here you have to also update it. Okay, and also here you can see if you want to visible that app, like here there is our app is visible for the reasons. First of all, you have to input that app, that means the app name. So if you want to change that name, you have to change it also on here. So this app actually comes from our app, that means this, and then from app.js, right? So you can see they have also one of the function as a app. So this function actually called in particular that area. So whatever the things you will put in app area, that means app function area, it will be loaded in our index, into the index that is our app. Okay, so for the reasons you can see it's now perfectly visible. So don't worry friend, laterally I will show you how can create some of the component and how can load some of the component. So that's one of the component is loaded on here. So how can do that work step by step, I will show you. So that is actually the file structure Git. So if you want to update your project into the Git, that will be helpful to you. And there is a package JSON, there is a package JSON, all that package, like there is our script as a start, build, the test, and then exit. So everything is very much organized on here. So step by step we'll show you how can actually working with this. So that's the pretty much simple file structure, is very lightweight. Okay, so how can actually create some of the component and how can working with this step by step, everything will be very much clear to you. Okay friends, so right now that's just remember it, you just need 3 things for creating one of the component. That will be our index.js file, that means this one, our mother.js as a app.js, so everything we have to call it on here, and that is our index.html. Okay, so into the index.html, that is one of the ID as a root ID. So this root ID actually call it in our src, in our this index.js. Here you can see that is get element as a root. So that's all actually the main functionality you have to remember. So don't worry, step by step I will show you more details and we'll go more deep in React.js. So thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.